I was
What's the
with
difference?
DA,
The difference
but I was
is
sort of
that people
blown
have
away,
to.
because
Have to sign.
No, you can get email digest from the NYCGA forum. You can just set it up in your settings so that
I
it
am
goes to your
very
email.
much an issues-based
Uh,
person.
you can
And
set
I
up in your
wasn't
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I get email alerts. When
no
someone
alert.
responds.
Or
When
I
someone
went
responds
to
to
no,
what
no
I say.
alert
I
or the
went
actual
to
text.
4 out of
Partial.
6 meetings.
You get a partial
I enjoyed
of the
it,
text,
but
and with a link to the form itself.
Yeah, you see,
so they're
I understand. It is better than nothing. And I find it insufficiently convenient. Okay.
I find it. I mean, a lot of people found it less convenient to have it coming into your inbox because then you have
No,
however many
the
messages
way
in your
it
inbox.
comes to you in, but you filter it. I do.
Me too.
I mean, I
think that's
have
what's splintering
everything
us.
that comes from each group coming to a separate mailbox on my email client.
Pleasant.
On my email client.
Well, that is important.
The point
No, I know
is,
it is. I know it is. But I
the-
mean,
So
it
if we
wasn't,
could only
it wasn't enough for me personally.
you know,
I needed to,
let's survey
you know.
the people who are nominally
And
members,
then
if we
I'm
can,
with the,
and ask why they don't attend. And it's not no crime to belong and not to attend, but we would like to know
I mean, if we had money, we could buy ads. We don't have to go.
what is the reason they don't show up.
yeah.
If we can,
All right, but
we will find
how
out.
do we get this group to back to?
How we get by communicating to our stakeholders that we exist and what we are doing. But we have, assuming those stakeholders are reading that NYCGA, and that's the only place where we can do it. So let's use that for publicizing what we are doing. How much are we publicizing ourselves over there?
I'm not.
We are not.
I'm not because should I post the agenda items, things we talked about during the meetings, all those things on the page?
We have to. It's part of the requirement that we should have a minute of every meeting.
Well, we have
post.
minutes, but I mean, nobody really pays attention to that. But if I posted little bullets of concise,
if you elaborate, for instance, if we are going to have a discussion, okay, if we have a page or two, and it takes time and work of what the discussion was about and what we are going to be discussing, it may interest some people. Like I said, that's the place where we now exist. So let's use that. I mean, I'm not happy with it, but let's use that, and people do occasionally check on it. And
now, should I post it in the forum or just post it on the homepage of Politics and Electoral Reform?
I'm not sure about.
What do you mean the homepage?
Like, just post it as general comments, or should I do a forum document?
I don't know.
Just a regular
I haven't looked at the
Forum
format.
forum post?
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't go to that. But if they go to Politics and Electoral Reform, they'll see the posts on the main page if I do it that way.
The sticky posts, you mean?
No, just like a regular whatever.
I mean, the main page is just the most recent activity.
Right, and that's what I think might be, because a lot of people probably out of
But
state or
wherever
whatever,
if you put it anywhere on the site, it'll show up there.
they'll show up, right?
Yeah, because it's the most recent activity. So even if you put it,
mostly-
even if you make it a forum post, then it'll still
So do
show
it
up
as a forum post?
I mean, if you keep it as a forum post, when a new person responds, that pushes it back up to the top of the list. So if no one responds, it eventually gets pushed down. But if people
Right.
are responding, then it gets pushed back up.
So the other one among it have to see to it that we comment on it so it pops up. So I will know every few days if I think it's important to pop up. I'll push it up by commenting on it.
Okay.
Like you heard, I'm not crazy about it, but that's what we have.
That's what we have, and that's where our group is centered. So let's use it for now.
Yeah, that's what we have. I think that if you have a listserv, it has to be managed. Listserv, by and large, it can get out of hand, and they have a lot of people who, number one, don't know how to use it. Number two, have a diarrhea of the keyboard. They post all kind of crazy things. They post a few things every day, and they dominate it. there are problems with listserv.
Do I have
And
the approval to post
What?
stuff for the group on there?
No, if you are you talking about
For like a
a
general
listserv-
overview of
a
the
listserv?
meeting and a general overview of the next meeting.
Of course.
It's
Do you
okay?
need approval? I don't know. Right.
Is it
It's not
okay?
a proposal. I don't know.
I mean, it's better done than not done, okay? But listservs are not easy, especially in something as open as this. And where people barely know each other and where many people just use it to discuss anything they want, whether it's on topic or off topic. There are problems with this. I know.
Another thing I'm curious about for right now is the Thursday night meetings, the attendance is even worse. Should we just do Sunday meetings for now until we can build it up? And
What was the number for Thursday?
same amount as you see now?
How much worse was it Thursday?
It was 5 of us.
Right?
It was 5 of us.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean,
Oh, I've got it. I printed out a copy myself.
oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I did. I did. You need one? It's the,
Suggestions?
I actually would have been here on Thursday had it not been for the rallies that we were planning for Friday
Okay,
and
so-
Saturday. So
A
normally
lot
I
of-
would be here.
Okay. How do you feel about it? So, I mean, I like having weekly meetings, but we got to have people show up.
I like the 2 meetings as well, but I've also been a lot busier with work recently, so 2 meetings is a bit much for me.
Right.
I mean, the original reason why I forget why we originally went to 2 a week.
Well, we were having a lot of discussions.
Actually, it was because we were actually meeting up daily,
Right.
and then we were like, this is ridiculous. Let's meet up just twice a week.
And but when we started having twice a week meetings, we had 12, 14, 15 people showing up regularly.
Well, I was also when there were hundreds of people in the park at any given moment.
So do you think it's a lull because of the winter, or
Say winter, post eviction, holidays, people involved with other things, burnout.
hold on? What do you have to say?
Well, sometimes I have to work Thursday nights. So that's why. Since the meeting was moved up, I'm definitely not gonna make it.
So
Usually I made it like in
were
last
you the one that
45
wanted
minutes.
8 o'clock?
Or later? I'm the one that was always pushing for later.
Oh.
Or later. But it's whatever. It's cold, so we cannot go outside when this place closes. So that's what it is.
I see the same faces. So the question is, are we going to have more people if we have once a week, twice a week, or 3 times? The same people show up anyway. So the other people are not showing up on Thursday or on Sunday,
Right.
and are missing a meeting. So that's not an issue. For me, 1 meeting a week is convenient for this group for the time being. For the time being, 1 meeting a week, and I think Sunday would probably be better.
I'm willing to try that out.
I agree with that. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have enough for consensus.
No, for the time being. For the time being.
Okay. Now,
Do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum. We don't have a quorum, but we're going to do it anyway.
well, here's the deal now. I mean, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just send out freaking mass emails this week to all the other groups, inviting people, posting it on. I started, and I took a little bit of break because I was busy with my own stuff, but I'm just going to just invite people and see what gives.
You know, I was actually going to suggest something that is very related to that with the corporate personhood group, because we have that built-in email now. That with our corporate personhood email, the N corporate personhood listserv, I guess is the word for it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that were involved in that were also involved in this group. No, I mean I'm new, so correct me if I'm wrong.
It grew out of this group, yeah.
Yeah.
I was involved.
So couldn't we just hit that group up and say, look, if there's just take a temperature check of that group and see how many of them would be interested in joining us now that the rally is
we should
over?
communicate with our 2 subgroups at our primary target population. We have 2 subgroups.
Who's the other subgroup?
There's another one,
The viral
viral constitutional convention.
But that's us.
Did anyone show up for that?
No, Jesse wasn't here. Jesse's going back to school. Dustin's going back to school. You know, I mean, so Sunday might be the.
Now, which meeting is it? Is this the main one or the? Or this is the viral?
No, this is now.
This
The
is
viral was
1:30.
at 1:30 to 3 o'clock.
Yeah, so this is the pair.
And we are at 3. Did they meet?
This is pair.
No, I'm looking. Okay, then we are the main group.
You've been
yeah.
coming here for months and you only have one page of notes.
No, this is
Four lines?
today's note. The point is, we have the viral constitutional convention, which is another subgroup, with attendance a little better than this when they meet. But and of course, the end corporate personhood that's been very active and is taking a week or so breather because they've been working so hard. Okay.
Like 2 days of march channels. Wind.
So, no, they are our primary target for participation here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's on the agenda for today?
Well, it was the document that
Oh,
we
yeah.
started. You have a copy?
I have 2 copies.
You have
So
an extra copy?
yeah.
I don't have your copy, but I have copies that I made for my pocket. Anybody who doesn't have it,
All right.
here is people before parties. If you don't have, you take my printed thing. But
Can I give you a smaller print because I'm blind as a bat and I can't read? Do you mind? Can you see it? You can. It's double-sided. The other side, ignore because it's just I use scrap paper, so it's just the front,
Oh, okay.
just the
Okay.
front page.
So I missed the last meeting, so I heard we were going to go through one by one. Is that the idea?
That's what people were saying. Well, that was your idea.
We kind of agreed that we're going to start out with alternative voting methods and try to explore that.
okay.
Itzhak has-
Anybody did homework? Because at the last moment I crammed and I did some homework.
Me too, at the last minute.
What?
So go ahead. You were going to talk.
Okay.
You were dying to talk.
I'll tell you
So,
the homework.
so we're being recorded. Does anyone have a problem with that?
No.
With what?
Being recorded.
No, what I'm going to do is summarize in a minute or two what I have and then see what everybody else said that they
Is that
did.
possible for you to do?
I'll make it in 30 seconds just to prove it. First of all, I looked at an article by Brahms and Fishburne called Alternative Voting System that I believe comes from their book, which I have on my shelf at home. And they discuss alternative voting method, and it's 14 pages, and it's a very good summary.
A 14-page book?
No, a 14-page article. And then I focus on single transferable vote, which is my favorite, on which I'd like to discuss in further detail, and I'll pass to. I can talk for a long time, but
No.
on the subject, but I'd like to know what other people have done and want to talk.
We have a little time to kill. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, no. Let's pass it on, and then I'll come back if I'm the one to talk.
Talk.
Oh, okay.
You're
Fine.
a gape.
Let me go to begin with voting, and we're talking about voting for governmental entities, legislatures, or single official. And there are various methods of electing them. The two that are most common that we are acquainted with is the American one. Is first through the post plurality voting. 5, 6, 7 people want to be elected. They all go to the ballot. Each of them gets their share, and guess what? One of them gets 22%, which is more than the rest, gets elected. Under some situations, there are runoffs. If nobody reaches 50 or 40%, the top two face each other in a runoff. this is what we know most commonly. Similarly, this goes for our national legislatures, and I think all of our state legislatures, both houses, where they have districts, where people compete against each other and get elected this way. The other one with which we are acquainted is list voting, with which I grew up in Israel. The various parties that compete, each of them has a list of candidates from 1 through 120 or whatever. They go to the electorate and they get their proportion of the vote, so the party that got 22% of the vote gets 22% of the.
Each party has more than one candidate.
Yes.
So you could vote for the candidate.
No, you vote for the party.
You vote for the party. But so how does the candidate receive?
Okay. Let's assume you have a legislature of 10 people. Okay? And
You played quarterback in college?
No.
You're always licking your hands like you're going to throw something at me.
No, I come from people who speak with their hands.
All right.
Okay. And let's assume that there are the Democrats, the Republicans, the Greens, the Libertarians, the Socialists, and the Fascists. Okay. And
Now that's voting.
okay, and they all have lists from 1, and they list their candidates from 1 to 10. Okay, and the Democrats got 40%, so they get 4 seats in the legislature. The Republicans got 30%, and they get a seat, 3 seats. The Greens got 10%. They get 1 seat. The Libertarians got 10%. They get 1 seat. The Socialists got 10%. They get 1 seat. And that's what the legislature looks like. And of course, there is all a way of how do you distribute it when it's not exactly 10, 10, and 10. Yes.
So then is the Democrats, they get 40% of the legislature, so that would be 4 people in that 1 through 10?
Yeah.
And then how do we pick the 4 people?
No, you don't see the 4 people. The Democrats list Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, Charles Schumer, and whoever. Okay, they are the top 4 people in that order.
Oh, so the number 1 through 10 is in order.
In order.
So then the top 4.
Yeah.
Oh.
You vote for the party.
Okay.
And Barack Obama was number 1, Nancy
understand.
Pelosi was
Okay.
number 2,
Okay.
Harry Reid was number 3, and these are the ones. They get the 5th one, and so I'm not going to go into the intricacies of what happens when they are not exact numbers. So these are the 2 best known systems of how you elect. However, there are 2 issues. One of them is democracy. You want the people to be represented. The second one is effective government. You want a legislature that can function and does not spend a lot of time, squabbling or blocking or creating a majority. So they are very okay. Fine.
I mean, do we really want them to encourage them to do
No,
things?
these are the 2 arguments. You are going on the pro-democracy. The other thing is, I want a government that can govern, and the point is, the purpose of the legislature is not to have a person who represents the Libertarians or the Greens debating there, but having the main faction coming together and making and agreeing on policy by a majority. That is a conflict. Okay, and this is an issue. If you want it to be very democratic, you you create the most democratic and representative system. In Israel, for instance, if you do not reach 2%, you do not get your minimal representation of one candidate. In Germany, if I'm not mistaken,
It's 5%.
it's 5%.
No way to get everybody
You,
here,
okay, and Germany, it is 5%. If you're such a minor faction that you cannot get 5%, bye-bye. I'm not going to go into detail 5% of what, because I think the elections are by state. Okay, and then in Germany it gets a little more complicated because they have a certain provision for compensating, okay, for insufficient representation by minor parties in some ways. But I'm not going to go into those complicated issues. Now, what are the alternative systems? Okay, the alternative systems are all of them try to be more proportional than first through the post. Okay, the first one that we know is a very simple reform known is what do they call it, instant runoff voting. Instead of waiting until those 7 people who run showing up at ending the first round of the election and then picking the top 2, if no one gets 50%, the one who gets least votes gets eliminated, and the second choice of the voter, the voter lists all of them. Okay.
Isn't that kind of like what they do in California?
No.
No.
They do it in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. They
That's
have
what I'm
instant
saying.
runoff.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ranked choice.
Yeah,
What is it?
Ranked choice, it's called. Basically, you rank your top 3 choices for the office in order of your preference. Then they add up the first round votes, first top pick. And if no one has a majority after of those picks, then they start tallying the second choices, and then they tally the second choices and the third choices, etc., until one candidate has more than 50%.
Okay. And if you get them, a
How do you
Democrat,
feel about that method?
it's better than what we have.
It's better than what we have.
It's better than
I
what
would,
we
I would
have.
prefer a ranked choice or approval voting.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to get to approval voting. So,
But what are we doing? We're just getting background. I mean, we went through all of this information months ago.
did we?
Yeah, I mean, when we put this document together, we had long discussions about all these methods.
Oh, okay. So the point is, I can.
I mean, if someone else wants to know, that's
Yeah, you're
fine.
right. Are you aware of the? I mean, you're very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I don't know what anyone else does, but I was present for all these.
No, I'd rather sit and discuss with you which one is better for us and which one is not, rather than reviewing it. And you're right.
Yeah.
Wanna
Okay.
continue?
I'm going to go
ahead,
to
continue.
the single transferable vote. Okay, or the health system. How many of you know what it is? I'm sure
what
you
system?
do.
What's, I'm sorry, say that again.
You know what it is?
What's
What?
it? Say it again.
Single transferable vote.
Single transferable
No.
vote?
Single
transferable vote.
or the health system, as it is known sometimes.
Then explain.
Okay, how many of you voted in a school board election in New York City ever? Are you from New York City? Are you? Are you?
Never.
What?
I never voted in it.
Ah,
All right, come on, wrap it up. Let's go.
no. Wrap it up. Single transferable vote. The single transferable vote, and I printed enough of these for whatever
Oh,
it's
thank
worth.
you.
Okay. It's very difficult to find something on the internet that's easy. And by the way, it is not that difficult to calculate, but it's more difficult to explain. And it's not that difficult to vote. The voter can be told, okay, just rank your preferences, okay? So, how candidates are elected? In an STV election, candidate must reach a certain number, This is called a quota, or an absolute majority. The quota is based on the total number of votes and the number of vacant positions. Here is how candidates are elected. The counting process tallies all the first preference votes. Okay, which means you have, let's say, 9 seats on the board of education, on the local board of education, and 20 people ran. Okay, so they get, see how much each of them got. A candidate is elected if they reach the quota. If the quota, let's say, is 100 votes, anybody who reached 100 is elected. But what if somebody gets 120? If a candidate is elected, they keep only the proportion of the vote they need to reach the quota. The surplus part of each vote is transferred to the voter's second preference. If somebody had 120, they take 20 of the person's vote and give it to the second choice person on
But what if you didn't vote for that person or you don't like that person?
No. You voted for number one.
Right.
If I voted for you at number one and you at number two, and you got 120 votes and you only need...
Or you would take my preference and...
No, I voted.
Right.
And every member of my family voted the same way, to make it simple.
Okay.
Because the family next door voted for you at number one and him at number two, but my family voted for you at number one and her at number two. So let's assume that you got 120 votes. And my family vote, second choice is her. Somebody else's family vote is him.
The first 100 votes go to me, and
10 goes to her, and 10. So immediately, their total vote goes up. Not enough to elect them yet, but they have 10 more votes each.
your family voted for me as number one and her as number two.
Somebody else's family voted for you.
Let me finish. So, and 120 votes. So the first 100 should go to me, and then the 20 should go to her. How does it go to him?
No, because somebody else's family voted for him as number.
I got that. So then it's 100 for me and 20 for her.
No, and 10 for... Okay. The Hatfields voted, 60 Hatfield voted for you as number one and her as number two. 60 McCoys voted...
But the problem here is that it doesn't matter who the voter is because that's supposed to be anonymous and private anyway.
No.
The point is that in this case that
yeah.
So if we're going to say the quota is a number. Say the number in this case is 100.
Yeah.
And let's say 200 people voted or whatever. 199 people voted in the election, say, and you needed 100 to win. Or whatever, I don't know, whatever the number is. Like you needed 100 votes. You needed at least 100 votes to win. And once one candidate, and when you cast in your ballot, you have a list. It's not just one person. You have a list of 1, 2, 3, your top three choices or whatever. And once they start counting the ballots, and one candidate gets 100, they count the top preference candidates. Once one person has their top preference, once that person wins, now we no longer count votes. Now we no longer count votes that have that person as their top choice because that guy already won. So everyone who, after all votes that are counted after you've already reached 100, now we don't count those people's top choice votes anymore because that guy already won. Now we count those people's second choice votes. And those this is why it's transferable in a sense, right? Because my vote was for this guy, but we already know this guy won the election. So my vote is just an overvote, right? It doesn't. My vote is now meaningless because this guy already reached absolute majority, whatever. Now it's just we're just pushing it. We're just rubbing it in. How much did he win by, right? So instead of actually making a massive margin, you now start counting your second choice preferences of the people who voted for the person who already won. So many people's
votes would be irrelevant or
they are relevant. Let me give you an example.
Now they're irrelevant.
If
this is to make them not irrelevant.
So if I vote, no.
That's the point.
Let me explain to you. Let me give you an example.
Go ahead.
4 years ago, and I'm a Democrat, and I have several. Okay, sorry, and I'm supposed to elect a committee of 10. And I really love Hillary Clinton, but Barack Obama is okay with me, and next Joe Biden is okay with me. I put Hillary number 1, Barack number 2, Joe number 3. If Barack gets more than 100 votes, which is the quota on the first run, and in my vote is a transferable one because it's at the bottom of the pile. Hillary is number 1. Then my vote goes to Barack.
I don't see how that's fair or democratic.
Well, the idea, I think, is that it's trying to get rid of wasted or surplus votes, right? To win the
To
election.
me, that's more wasteful than the present system we have.
No.
I don't know if
No.
it is or not.
No, the point is that I want Hillary to be elected and I want Barack to be elected. Except that I want Hillary to be elected more than I want Barack to be elected. Okay? In which case I vote for Hillary number 1 and Barack is number 2, and both of them are members of my party, so I'm very happy that they will contribute to the party caucus in the legislature.
It sounds no,
But
it
this
doesn't
is-
even sound good.
Huh?
I don't.
I'm not loving the sound of it either.
Right.
This is also this is also to elect multiple people with at the same time.
Correct, multiple
Yeah.
people.
This is not to elect one person. This is to elect multiple.
I'm
people.
talking about the legislature. I'm talking about the Board of Education or the state legislature or the city
I
council.
prefer.
You're talking about electing a certain number of people to serve on the same committee?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I prefer in the order where you rank each candidate. This one's a 10, this one's a 9,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. I think that's much more democratic.
We
and
are.
much
That's
more-
range voting.
Yes.
And what?
Much more,
That's range voting.
Much more
I
effective.
don't follow.
I think.
What do you mean by range voting?
That's what he just described.
And this number 1 to number 10.
No. In range voting, the alternative method in range voting is that you have a list instead of a plurality. It's pick one. Person with the most votes wins.
And that
right?
also
That's
gets rid of
plurality.
parties because
No, I'm talking about
you're voting
a
for
multi-seat body.
I know he's talking about range voting. He's saying he would prefer range voting to single
No,
transferable vote.
range voting for what? For a multi-member.
for Congress or Senate or
I don't
council
follow.
or
Are you
whatever.
talking about single member district or multi-member districts?
We have single member districts, so he's talking
Yes.
about single member districts.
Oh,
It
you
doesn't-
prefer single member district?
No, he's saying he prefers range voting.
Explain
Compared
to
to
me.
your
Range
method, I
voting.
don't think your method is very, or this
It's not
method,
mine.
No, but I think this method that you're proposing is not very democratic. I think
It
it
is.
rewards people that you don't. I don't see the benefits of it. I think it's worse than what we have now.
This is. By the way, we did not get further down. After that is done, or if this doesn't get done, the person at the bottom gets eliminated. The person with only 2 or 3 votes gets eliminated, and his vote get distributed to whoever the second choice on the ballots is.
I mean, basically, it's like doing an instant runoff election for multiple legislative seats at the same time.
Explain to me range voting. Okay.
Range voting is just an alternative voting
It's
vote
this.
counting system.
What we did with the sheet of
No,
paper.
that's
No,
not
no.
range voting. That's ranked choice. Range voting is like instead of under plurality, it's you have a list of candidates to choose from. Pick your favorite one. The person with the most votes wins. Right.
Good.
Under range voting, you would for every candidate on the ballot, you would assign to them a number rating.
What
them.
happens then?
So 0 to let's say it's 0
Yeah.
to 5 or 0 to
Correct.
10 or whatever. Then
like
you
multiple
say
choice.
like I fucking hate Barack Obama. I'll give him a 0. I fucking hate Republicans too. I'll give them a 0. I like libertarians. I'll give them a 4, and I like Greens. I'll give them a 4. And then the Green part, the candidate. and then whatever some fringe candidate I've never heard of, don't like them as much as the Greens or the Libertarians, but better than the Democrats or Republicans. I'll give that guy a 2 or a 3, right? And then everyone can vote for every candidate this way. You assign them a number, and then you just add up the numbers, and the person with the highest rating wins.
And I have a certain numbers to allocate.
No, nothing is allocated. The person with the who had the highest number of choices wins. Look, we can do it right now.
No. One second. How is that different from approval voting?
It's a more approval voting is just a simplified version of range voting. Approval voting is 0 to 1, right? You approve or you don't like them, right?
Yes.
In range voting, you can express more, right? It's 0 to 5 instead of 0 to 1.
So which means I give more points to some people than to others.
Yeah.
Right.
Are they different from a border count?
Or even this method, I don't know what it's called.
That one is appealing to me. I mean,
me
I would have
too.
to read, but it's the way you're describing it.
It's the most. It most closely approximates consensus voting.
See
yes.
that? Huh?
But how does it differ from a border count? The way it's calculated?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
And
about
you know what the
math.
border count is?
I'm not familiar.
Border
with the
count is quite simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have
It's their
5
time
people.
To freeze us out.
Yep.
1 to
Say,
5.
Hey guys, come on.
Assuming there is no bullet voting,
That's
number
why I
1
keep my
gets
jacket
5
on.
points, number 2 gets 4
This
points.
is not
number-
like that. It's not like
it's
this
not
at all.
like that.
No, it's we could do it right now. So there are 3 colors of the American flag: red, white, and blue. My favorite color is red, and I give it a 5. My least favorite color is blue, and I'm going to give it a 1. And my medium favorite color is white. I'm going to give it a 3. So we now have 5 for red, 3 for white, and 1 for blue. How do you vote?
Red is my favorite also. Blue is my second favorite, so I'll get a 3. And white is, no offense, but out of the 3, that'll be a 1.
So now red has 10, blue has 4, and white has 4.
Blue at 5, white at 3, and red at 1.
So now blue has 9,
Red has 10.
what'd you say, red 1?
Red is 1.
So red has 11,
Or 11.
blue, and white was
3.
3. So white has 7.
Red is 0.
You can
Zero-
go 0?
zero for
Yeah, you go 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, red, so it's still 11.
White is 3.
Okay, so white is now 10.
Blue's 5.
Blue is 5, so blue has now 14. Red, white, and blue.
The workers' flag is deepest red. 5 points for red, 0 for everybody else.
0 for everybody else?
Yeah.
So red has won
So
by
red wins
2.
with 16.
16,
Right.
blue is 14, white is 10.
Which means that because I'm so vehemently pro-red, I really probably pushed it all over the place.
Better red.
So now what happens to our 3 colors? Red
wins.
And then
No.
but if we're voting for a legislative
But that's for a
body,
single seat.
It's a single. It's a
this is
single
for
member.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or for a single
Right.
member.
So in this case, red would win 16 to 14 to 10.
Okay.
So now let's just say
No,
it was,
one
let's
second.
just say it was
Wait.
whatever person body. The red party would get 16% or 16 shares. The blue would get 14, and the white would get 10. I'm guessing.
Or they would just order it that way, and whatever proportionally it made
Okay.
sense.
Right.
No.
Does this factor in? See, math is not my strong suit. If we had, could this system possibly wind up with more people actually liking blue, but red still wins?
No, the spoiler problem you're talking about. It does. That is not as much of. I'm pretty sure that's not really a problem at all in the system. That can be a problem in.
No, it's a problem now.
It's
More
a it's a
people,
problem-
but
it's a
not
problem
so
now.
intensely.
In this system,
No,
No.
it's
That
around
can't
that
happen.
problem.
No, because
yeah.
you saw how the
There's a-
vote actually reflected all of our input.
because you express your feelings on every candidate, right? Like
Right,
under
but
the
say,
one right now.
But say 20 people voted to have red at number 4.
20 people.
Okay.
But their
See,
votes,
it's a
but
math
their
thing.
but
I
their
can't
votes,
do the
their votes
math.
for red would still count though. However they voted for, it would still count, right? Like right now, what we do is we just give information on one candidate, yes or no.
Okay.
On this way, we're giving information about all the candidates, yes or no, or even more detail.
And,
than
and
that.
think about it this way: if you had a choice in the president election with the candidates that ran, Hillary Clinton, Biden, Obama, I don't remember who else. And if you
Edwards.
took
John Edwards,
whoever, Lieberman, whoever, and you ranked them, and everybody ranked them, how, look at, okay, no, forget about that. Look at the present Republican primaries right now. Romney has won once. What's his name? Santorum won once, and now Gingrich just won once. So
that's a different system. That's a cockamamie system. By the way,
no. But if you had a system where you can rank those people, it would be much more representative of, because
we are talking about single member election. Who should be the party's candidate? Who should be
not
the
the party,
president?
yeah.
Who should be the mayor? Or who should be the dog catcher? And I find it a useful tool for single member. But let's talk about when you need several hundred members of the legislature or 35 members of the New York delegations to Congress. If you're going to do this, let's assume, let's say,
I have a question
Manhattan.
about this. The transferable vote. This is party based, right?
It could be, does not have to be.
How does it work without parties?
Very simple. It has to do with the process by which nominating go place. I saw a school board election where people sort of group themselves into lists. But if you have 5, let's assume we have Manhattan.
So you still have to be on a list.
You have to. How do you get nominated?
what is this voting called?
Range voting.
This is range voting.
Yeah. Let's
I'm
assume.
going to read up this week and do a
There is an
report.
you can check out the Center for Range Voting, which is rangevoting.org, or a blog called Least of All Evils.
Okay. I'm saying. Let's assume that Manhattan has 5 members of the city council or the state legislature or whatever. Okay. And what you have is the Democratic Party, the Democratic Party internally or by whatever process nominates 5 people.
I get that, yeah.
And 3 Democrats who don't like the fact that they did not get elected collect enough signatures or qualify by another way, and you have 8 Democrats running. The Republican Party does the same thing. The Greens decide that they're going to focus on 3 people.
But my question is
No,
about
let me
people
go
who
on.
aren't.
And then there is a guy in Harlem and another guy in Washington Heights and somebody on the lower side who decided that they don't belong to any parties. And they simply get enough petitions or enough signatures and they get nominated. And they're listed as independent, or not listed even at all. It is quite possible and for that it depends upon the extent to which parties are strong or not strong, and to which the nominating system.
But if you have a system like this, it would give.
You don't get it. We are talking about 2 different apples and oranges.
I gotcha. But
I'm talking about a multi-member body, not a single member
Yeah,
body.
that's basically, this
But
is
the
basically
system
proportional
as-
representation.
It will work
This is basically
differently.
proportional representation. This is more under this than this.
I'm talking about proportion. I want to make sure the Greens, by the way, have 1 woman,
He wanted
1
to
man. Excuse me. Sorry, one woman and 1 man, and a third man who is Hispanic. Okay, the Hispanics goes among all the Hispanic people. Say vote for me. the woman goes to all the women's groups say vote for me, and the men goes to everywhere else, and they say vote for me as number one, and my friend, the Green, who is Hispanic as number two, or my friend who is a Green and a woman as number two, and the third one as number three, and each of them hopes that between the three of them they get one Green representative into the delegation. If you have this kind of thing, of course, what the Greens can do. But the trouble with the Green, that they have a choice. They list all the Greens as number 5, but there are so many more Democrats and Republicans that they probably will drown them in this process. I've not looked at it, but and the Green will be kept out. Yes, I'm sorry.
So, what do the articles say? What does the data say about this type of voting?
This type of voting, it's very
popular. What states have?
I don't know what state. Currently, some city councils in the United States have it. Tasmania has had it. One house of the Irish Parliament had it, and it is available elsewhere. New York City voted that way for city council until around 1939 or thereabout. You know what happened? 2 communists got elected. And the Republican and Democrat bended and eliminated it. And by the way, the Republicans and the Democrats do not like this, especially the Democrats. Okay? Because it allows representation for Greens, for communists, for libertarians, or for independents, even help me, okay? They want the party to control the nomination.
They want anybody on the left to stay a Democrat. To be a Democrat.
By the way, it's nothing insidious. The Republicans are the same.
Yeah.
But the Republicans would benefit because you would get more Republicans on the city council that way because there are many districts where the Republicans are in minority, but when you count them citywide, there are more of them than there are in the city council. Okay, so the party machine, especially I'm talking about around 1939 in New York City, hated it, and there was also, of course, the ideological issue with the communists. But they hate it. They cannot control it.
So you're proposing this type of voting for
every multi-body.
So for every election cycle, there's 1/3 of the state's senator.
And the senator. No, senators.
Or House.
No, the senators are voted one at a time. I have ideas to abolish the system altogether.
But
this system wouldn't work for presidency.
Of course, no.
No, there's only one president.
For the presidency, what would work either what he said.
So I don't know.
What he said, but what he said, we would love that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton ran in the general election at the same time rather than being funneled through you agree?
Sorry?
You would have liked Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton.
I wouldn't have liked either of them.
No. Or John McCain.
No, not him either.
Systemically?
You're not going to get my support for any of these people.
No, not for the people.
Okay.
Systemically. Do you prefer the previous cycle where Obama and Clinton fought it out to the last, to the end of the primary, and then, face McCain?
But this is tangential to the discussion.
So how you propose we apply this transfer of a vote to the current system of government, or do you want to completely scrap it?
No, I want to scrap it, but I'm ready to compromise.
Okay. Let's say that you cannot compromise that as far as the structure goes. So how would you apply this to the current way?
Okay, I would take New York City.
Okay, New York City we have
51 or 52.
So this election cycle there are 40 seats up for grabs.
The city council gets elected every 4 years. Okay.
But is it always? Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Every 4 years. Under one option, which is going to be a little more unwieldy, you have you have 51. You can list as many people up to 51, and that's how it goes. And everybody runs against everybody else, and you choose the person. If you live in Manhattan, you can vote for a person in Queens whom you like, or a person in Staten Island, and so forth. Or we do it, and I'm going to make it simple, by borough. Manhattan gets yay many, Brooklyn gets yay many, and so forth. So there are about, the Manhattan delegation is, I'd say, 11 people, okay? So we get 30 people running. Many of them are Democrats and Republicans whom their party did not nominate, but they thought that they'll do better this way rather than going through their party. And some of them are independent. There's going to be a socialist. There's going to be libertarian. There's going to be Greens. There's going to be whatever, and they're all going to be running to represent Manhattan in the city council for the 11th seat of Manhattan, whatever it is. So, and this way, Manhattan is guaranteed to have Democrats, probably liberal Democrats, representing every seat in the city council. The hell with all the Republicans, and there are. The hell with all the Greens, and there are some. And the hell with all the people who together would probably elect one member of the city council to the left of the Democrats. Do you think that if the Manhattan delegation was run by this system, somebody who's to the left of the Democrats can coalesce enough vote on the single transferable vote?
Well,
to the city
Manhattan
council?
had a similar system already.
Right.
Manhattan used a system like this already in the past.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And they got a communist from Harlem and by the system.
Which is why one of the reasons why we have the current system is to prevent outsiders from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, when I say outsider, I mean Manhattan.
People who are not corporatist Democrats, basically.
No, but the point is, you know that if Manhattan has the system, one or two Republicans are going to get in. Okay? We know. Because that really represents the range of people. And the majority will still be liberal Democrats.
Is this the only thing we have on the agenda for today?
Can I say something?
No. All right.
If the whole idea of getting corporatist Democrats and Republicans and all these insidious people running our government out of office is to get corporate influence out of politics and get the money out of politics.
Course.
So wouldn't that be the best way to change the way we elect our government instead
One
of
simple answer. That's why there are 5 of us here, and there were 30 people sitting here in end corporate personhood subgroup that consider that to
right,
be.
but I'm talking about something even beyond corporate personhood.
No,
I'm
no,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
the
Of
very
course.
way we finance our elections.
Yeah. End corporate personhood as a subtext. Election reform and election finance. I agree. What should be our priorities is a good question.
No,
I agree with you about priorities.
I don't think if you get money out of politics, it'll solve the issue. I mean, it'll solve the current problem. However, you'll have a vacuum, right? And then you'll have other influences, where religion, just to name one. I mean, something else will fill that void. Right now, right now it's just money that's winning everything. But once you eliminate that, there'll be something else.
right,
So
right.
we
But
need electoral reform
what I'm
as
saying
well.
is that
I think.
it just by changing the means by which we elect our government officials, is that going to fix the problem? I mean,
No,
the way
I
we
think-
count votes.
Well,
No.
I think sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if so many people understand that money is the problem, why the fuck do all these people keep voting for these people? Right? people can't stand the Republicans or the Democrats. 90% of Americans can't stand these motherfuckers, any of them, right? A majority of people are fed up with all these people, and yet every year, what do they do? They go and they vote again.
They go for the
It's like
favorite team.
94% like re-election rate for incumbents, even though 90% of people can't stand any of these people. So the problem here is like, okay, everyone hates all these people, and yet everyone keeps letting them win the popularity contest at the election, right? And people say, oh, it's because of money, right? That's like, oh, like the person with the most money wins. This is the argument, right? The corporate influence, but. I mean, and that's true on the basis of the data. If you have more money, you're more likely to win the election. But I mean, if like voter turnout is only 30%, and like 15% of people are, people are. I don't know. To me, the problem is that people have to start voting for other people. It doesn't like whether they have. Right? I mean, how do we break this mindset where it's like, oh, I have to vote for this motherfucker or this motherfucker, or whatever, as South Park put it, like the douche or the turd sandwich. If you remember that South Park episode.
If you wanna, people are just lazy, and I don't know how to combat that. It's because we were talking earlier. You should not be allowed to vote unless you know what the issues are. I mean, and so people are they're just used to going through. It's insanity. You do the same thing over and over, hoping for a different result, and that's what we have. And so I don't even know if it's a system. I think if the general population was more informed or took the time to be more informed, we would have better results.
I think if we just like any number of these reforms will fuck up a number of things, which I think is a good thing.
Correct.
It will fuck up like the strategery involved in campaigning to begin with. The people who are running these campaigns won't know. They won't be able to predict what's going to happen because it's new. So that will put them off balance.
Which will
make it easier to push over, just like political judo style. It's like they're going to start making mistakes, and you just push them now that they're off balance. It will also change the way voters have to think about the way they vote because it's a new system. So it will actually make it's going to throw a monkey wrench into the standard machinations of like the party operatives and their strategics, but also it'll change the way people think about the election because it's a new thing. It's like, oh, we have, it's I don't know. When I get a new toothbrush, guess what? I'm excited to brush my teeth. It's the most boring thing in the world. A minor reform to your political system can create interest, and people start thinking, but now they have to think about it in a new way. I don't know. These to me are arguments in favor of any kind of reform, even if it's a bad reform, right?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. What I'm talking about, it will, as far as getting our golden objective advanced, it will be an incremental reform by allowing more people on the left to have their choice. And also, why you don't vote? To see the name of some strangers over there, that you're supposed to vote for, and you're not crazy about them. But if you have to list them 1, 2, 3, and 4, you say, I don't know who most of those mothers are, but number 1 over there I really like, and number 2 is really okay, and number 3 is better than the rest. So at least you listed your number 1, 2, and 3 about whom you. And if you ever voted in a judicial election in the city?
Yeah.
You knew for whom you were voting?
I don't even remember what it was now.
I always write in for judicial.
Yeah, and the point is, even for people who are electorally engaged, and you are
Stop the war on drugs is what I write.
you see, and I know how it's done. I really ratify what the party apparatus decided, and I don't even want to know whether I want to ratify.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. The point is, if you have to list them 1, 2, and 3, or like what he said, 1 to 5, and so forth, at least you say, this I like very much, this one. But people are again going to vote very often on the wrong criteria. Somebody will say, oh, I'm an Albanian, I'm going to vote for the Albanian. Or I'm anti-abortion. This person gave me a good anti-abortion.
All right.
Yeah.
Number one is we're going to meet next Sunday instead of Thursday.
What will we do? We
I'd like to
exhausted.
continue, bring back more information. I'm going to personally
What issue
look
shall
up
we tackle?
try to gather some information on the range voting, and this way we can add to this discussion. If anybody wants to add anything else, you're very encouraged to.
No, of course, bring information, but then I would like us to decide on something and then try to push it locally here.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah, I would
exactly.
too. I
Yes,
would
yes,
too.
yes, yes.
Because
But that's
just-
why I think.
just having presentations.
March
is not-
break windows. Okay.
No. I mean, I think
Break
we had
windows.
some good,
Skulls.
you know, different points of view on different methods today. I think we need to just
2014, we should be voting one differently than what we're doing right now.
maybe
locally. I mean, locally.
2012.
Manhattan.
By the way,
voting.
you had reservation about single transferable vote for multi-member seats. Which method would be better, in your opinion, for multi-member
I
seats?
like this. I'm going to read up on it, and I'm going to read up on what's the other one? Range voting and
Approval.
rank approval.
They're in there.
No,
They're all listed
approval voting.
there. Approval voting is a simplified version of range. Ranked choice is instant runoff.
They're all listed in the thing,
Let me ask
right?
you:
Yeah.
would you want to? Okay, I'm gonna bring back
more thing.
info on range voting. There's plurality voting. Anybody want
That's
to
what we
take?
have, plurality
That's what we
is
have
what we
now. Ranked choice. Anybody want to take that one and bring
Ranked
back
choice,
information?
I mean, I can talk kind of freely.
Ranked
I know a
choice
lot
is
of
like the
research on all of
Illinois,
these issues.
Anybody
upper
want to take one
house.
of them? And
Well,
No, ranked
yeah, I
choice
mean,
is
I kind
instant
of want to
runoff.
read on all.
Oh, it's in
about-
runoff.
no, but if
Yeah.
we all did
It's
you
a
know,
nice-
a little
so
something.
what- which
It's a
one am I
nice
on?
Whichever one you want.
thing.
You have-
It's a nice moderate reform.
I worked
but-
on range voter. You're going to
It
do
doesn't
range.
work very well.
You want to do
Did you
range?
ra-
I like
No, no, no.
range.
I mean, it
I'll
doesn't
do
get rid
range.
of
Okay.
it doesn't get
I'll
rid of the
do
spoiler
range.
I'll
problem.
do
You want to do approval
Yeah,
voting?
yeah.
yeah, because we
matter.
didn't talk about that one.
Do approval voting?
Also,
She's going to do approval
I'll
voting.
do-
You?
I'll do
Which one are you doing?
I'm doing range. She's doing approval. There's liquid democracy.
liquid democracy is proxy voting. I think it was Casey who was the big advocate of liquid democracy.
But I mean, just so we have a different perspective. Are you going to bring back? What are you bringing back?
I'm bringing nothing back. What choices do we have?
What else is there? I'm doing range. She's doing approval. You're doing. You want to do rank choice?
Sure.
Rank choice.
Let me look at my menu.
But I have
What
so
else?
if we could get this.
You-
I'll do
you'll-
liquid or whatever.
Okay.
Uh,
Liquid democracy.
Yeah, and then we can come back and each speak on.
And we'll have a little.
I spoke too much this time, so you can
Way
excuse
too
me.
much. Way
Way too
All
much.
the time.
So we're 3 to 5 next Sunday.
3 to 5 next Sunday.
Okay.
Did you have you done any
Twitter?
more on the video front?
I got I got about 40% of it done very well. I haven't had time. There are 3 projects I'm working on simultaneously. One of them is my own personal website. So, and I'm trying to get my business off the ground. So forgive me.
That's okay. I was just wondering.
I got quite a bit of
'Cause I
it
haven't
done.
gotten very much done.
I gotta
on my end
send
either.
what's her name an email. I haven't spoken to them since they left,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, me
and
neither.
I would like to communicate with them. You're in. Maybe you can help me.
What do you need?
I'll show you in a minute. Actually, no, I don't have my computer here. Maybe next Sunday, if you get here a few minutes early, I'll go over it with you. Or you have email?
By the way,
Yeah.
wanna
you
write it
look
down?
up single
I'll send you- I'm
transferable
working on,
vote for
putting together
multi-member
something. right, you can write it down.
election, not for single.
It's called Follow the Dollar. It's a
Oh,
infomercial.
Hey, I'll do the border count.
The what?
Border count.
Boda.
Border. BORDA. If it's
Oh,
That's,
border.
where, that's where they document how many Mexicans are coming in and leaving.
No, but how many Guatemalans snuck through.
See if you can read my spelling.
Bye.
Take it.
Cecilia Frontera.
Yeah.
G.
Yeah.
Oh, and if we had this the voting
Um,
platform, it would be nice. So we could do it
I
locally. We
know.
could test
The what?
the voting platform. You know, that-
Yes.
Stupid app I
Scott
created.
still
I gave
hasn't
you-
written.
I
Scott
programmed-
still hasn't written to me.
So just so you don't know, we programmed a platform. I don't know how to say a program, an application And we're raising money for an iPad in order to test these
How
different
much are we
ideas.
short? 80?
Oh,
We want to
cool.
test it on this body, but
We have.
How much are we short now?
We have 250.
We have
Between me,
250.
you, and Sam. We have 250.
yeah, so we have 250. So we need a 3 something. So we're raising funds on that. So it would be good to engage.
If Scott came back, we'd have
engage
350 and we'd be good to go. But
Yeah.
I haven't heard from him.
Okay.
That's
what-
new, right?
what-
Okay.
If you can give $10, it's a lot.
So
It doesn't matter
we
what
have
you
another
give.
$10 from
I
Jason.
gave 50,
Oh,
he
yeah?
gave 100, he gave 100.
Cool. Is he
Okay.
Did he get out?
So you
Yeah,
don't,
you gotta-
please don't feel
Wait a minute.
I
pressured.
don't have a job.
Don't worry about
Don't worry
it.
about it. No.
Yeah, don't worry about
You
it.
know
I
somebody.
can throw in a few dollars,
No,
but
no,
I couldn't
don't.
possibly
Forget
do
about it.
anything more than
Don't worry about
But
it.
just spread the word.
serious. We're just throwing it out there. If you know somebody that wants to contribute, by all
He's
means.
the point person.
I mean, I
He's
can
taking the
give you.
collections?
I
No,
can
no,
throw in
no.
a few
Don't.
dollars, but
No,
I-
no.
I really.
No.
But spread the word. Or
Yeah.
if you-
I will.
yeah,
I
yeah.
will. I will. Okay.
And that'd be a good way to engage people, maybe have people
Exactly.
push their representatives.
Yeah.
About
I'll email you what I have.
It's actually it'd be an
I
awesome
have-
outreach
What?
tool.
Tell me
Like,
what it
for
is,
everything.
because I don't even know. What
Well,
you're talking
you heard of SOPA, and
Yeah.
So what is?
over. Can I shut this down?
it's
What are you talking
my
Is the meeting over? I'm sorry.
Oh, the video. The video, yeah.